morning, engineering 2. Woo. Can you guys hear me? I keep on asking questions, nobody answer. Can you guys hear me? Thumbs up. Yes, no, maybe. Yes, okay. Thank you for showing up. I hope you guys miss me. Woo. Okay, so let's start with homework number 7. We gotta go over modeling. The first thing I believe I gotta do is I need to let you guys know where you will find the templates. So if you guys go to your Dropbox folder, you guys have a lab homework folder. In your lab homework folder, you have 00 borders and model templates. If you click on that one, you guys will have all the pen settings in of AutoCAD. I think when people ask me, hey, where do I get all these pen settings that you use during the lab time to do the assignment? Well, this is where you will get everything. Anything in terms of AutoCAD will be here. So it's right here. This is your template. This is the pen settings file. The next one, metric parts and borders with Inventor. So if you guys get to have any parts that are metric, you will be using this folder with the template files. And if you guys were to do any US or Imperial parts, you will be using this folder. Within it, you guys are going to have a couple of files. One of them is the IPT. It stands for is the part file. If I were to look at the properties, come on, computer. Too many problems going on. Inventor is like really demanding to use. Well, this guy, if I were to look at the properties, you guys will notice that it's an IPT. This is the one that I'm telling you, hey, when you submit it, I want you to submit this IPT. I think here, I told you guys, hey, submit your IPT. That's what I'm talking about. The IDW is the, oops. The IDW, here it's right there, IPT. The IDW is the drawing. So you have a drawing for Inventor. So let me write that. So you have 3 types of files. Which one like? And also the flash here. You guys have 3 types of files. Let's do it with pen. So you have the IPT, the IDW. You actually have you guys got more. You guys got the IAM, and you guys have the IPN. This guy is your model, and you will notice it. If you install Inventor at home, it will look like a square, like a cube. This is your model. Your IDW, this will gonna be your drawing, and this is your electronic drawing. This is the one that will communicate with Inventor in terms you guys are making a drawing. Well, you create a model and then you drop it into the drawing and then you annotate the drawing. This IAM is an assembly file. So if you guys got a bunch of models, you stack them all together, you kind of assemble them together, and you will get an assembly. The way the assembly looks, it looks like a 3 blocks together stacked on top of each other. The IPN, this is an exploded assembly. Exploded assembly. And it's kind of like the assembly that you guys see here, but instead of that, I believe it looks like a part and it has like an axis, something like this. It pretty much allows you to represent an assembly and separate it to see how things are. And you can also create animations for the exploded assembly. In fact, one of the main features on the IPNs that you can create assemblies exploded. All right, so these are where these files are. Okay, so step number 1 is to let you know where the templates are. It's in Dropbox. You guys are going to have 2 assignments. One that is going to be extra credit, and one of them that is going to be actually your assignment. So for example, the one that we are going to do today is the in-class assignment. This is your homework number 7, right? This is your homework number 7. And this on the right side, the next one right here. This one is the in-class assignment. It's a different one. Okay, so the whole idea is if you do the in-class assignment, you follow it through, you submit it, you will get extra credit. So think about, at this point in time, actually going to start getting a little bit more tougher, especially if you, I want to hope that you watch the lecture on dimensioning, because that's what usually where I get all the people, because they don't actually watch the lectures and don't ask me questions. You guys got to ask me during the lab time, hey, professor, can you check my dimensions? So we're going to do this in-class assignment. Let's think about this in-class assignment as a extra credit, let's call it. You guys are going to do homework number 7. If you guys want to do homework number 7, you want to guarantee an A, I would really suggest you guys do the in-class assignment because it's going to count as an extra credit. I believe I'm going to give you guys 5 points. And the homework number 7 assignment, I believe, is 20 points. So it's pretty generous. Okay. Again, the in-class assignment is going to be 5 points. You get to submit it with homework number 7 at the same time you submit. At the same time you submit homework number 7, you submit your in-class assignment. Again, remember, if you, for whatever reason, you want to work from home, I would really suggest you guys download Inventor 2022 because Inventor is not downgradable. Means you cannot work at home with 2023 and come back here and work on 2022, and we're not allowing you to. So to eliminate that, if you guys download Inventor, I want you guys to download Inventor 2022. If you need a laptop, as I previously told you guys, contact Michelle Castanan, and it should be right on your I believe some module 00. Michelle Castanan, it's right there. Welcome to Engineering 2. And if I recall correctly, there is a little video right there. It's a video on how to download Inventor, or if you guys want to download Autodesk, it's free for students. And again, if you guys need a laptop, this is the people that you should be contact. Kelly Arcel, she's the resource specialist for engineering and engineering technology. So contact her. Okay, let's start with the setup. The first thing that I want to do is I want to create a project. Because I'm gonna do during the whole semester, I am going to be working in see what do I have here? Yes. Actually, I'm gonna delete this whole folder. Let me delete it. I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna make a new folder, which I am going to call Engineering to Inventor. Okay. You guys could create one folder in your flash drive or wherever you save your things. Maybe you work in your laptop. You can do it there. The first thing that I want to do once I open Inventor, and again, Inventor, the way Inventor looks in your desktop, and you work in the lab, or if after you install it, it's going to look like something like an eye. And make sure that it says Autodesk Inventor Professional. Sometimes they will come and say, hey, you want to do the trial version, you want to do the demo, or they call it, sometimes they call it also the safe mode. So don't use that one. I also have another one that is an Nastra add-in. So this is not the same one. This is actually an add-in that gets to be put into Inventor so you can do finite element analysis. It's not the same one. Okay, so the first thing that you guys want to do is, again, you guys are going to look for the eye, and you need to make sure you have the Inventor Professional. Once you double click on it, it will look something like this. In fact, mine, I need to actually repair it because you should have a kind of like a preview of everything that you have done. But in my case, I don't know why I need to repair my program. But if you guys go here to the top, there is a ribbon. In this tool launch panel, you want to click on the projects. And I want to create a project because I want the computer to always look in the same direction, right? So, for example, here I have the default panel. That's something that you want to do. And the next one is a project that is actually looking at a file directory, looking for a folder within a folder within a folder within a folder. So I want to do something similar. So I'm going to create a new project. And this project is going to be a single user project. So I'm the only one that's going to work on it. The vault is when you have a lot of people working on one project. So new project. I'm going to do next. And in my case, I'm going to call it Engineering 02 Inventor. Inventor. And you guys will notice that it's trying to create a folder in my documents. I don't want it in my documents. I created my folder in my desktop. In you guys' case, what you guys think? You'll be looking whatever you created your folder. In my case, I created in the desktop. That's why I need to look for that location. So I think I created the folder on the desktop, and I call it Engineering 2 Inventor. Okay, so you want to select it, and then you're gonna say, okay, boom. You see it? Now it's looking for that folder, the one that I created. I'm gonna go to next, and I'm gonna finish. And you guys will notice that as soon as I did that, it created like a little check mark. What is it that I just did? Well, if I go to my desktop in Engineering 2 Inventor, you will notice that it's a new folder. New folder there and a new file. This file is a project file. It's different than the other one that I show you guys, which is the IPT, IAM, IDWs. This is an IPJ file, which is a project file. It's think about it, it's kind of like a shortcut that you create. So if for whatever reason you're working in a big project and then you gotta jump to another project, you just go here and say, oh, I don't want this, I want to go to work on another project. For example, me, I have different courses that I gotta teach. Some of these I use Inventor, some of them I might teach Inventor as well, but I'm doing some other assignments. So it will be a good idea for me to create a project for each class. Okay, once you're done, you create your project, you just gotta click done. Boom, done. Now, as soon as I want to create actually, let's do one thing before we start. First, create a project. Second, the other thing that I want to do is I want to create templates for my folder. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to look for my Dropbox. And in my Dropbox, I'm going to go and find my templates. And I'm also going to put it in this folder. So let me come over here. Student Engineering 2. Share folder. Share folder. And then I'm going to go to labs. And I got these templates. And I want to copy my templates. I want to copy, let's copy the US. So this is the one that I'm using. I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it in the folder where I'm working here. I'm going to also, somebody's having my microphone. You're going to mute yourself. Okay. I'm going to be using the inch part and the V size, and I'm going to copy those two files and I'm going to put it outside here. Okay. So again, this is the folder that I created in the desktop, and I'm putting all of this in here. Here is my templates. Here is the file. These are the two files that were created because I created a project. And these are the files that I'm going to be using to submit, right? One is the part, which I'm going to actually rename, and I'm going to call it homework number 7 in class. This is the extra credit. And this is a part, so might as well call it part. The other file is the IDW. I'm going to rename it the same way, but I'm going to call it drawing. I want to create a folder for this homework number 7. So if I go homework number 7, I will have homework number 7 in class as well as homework number 7 extra credit. So the in class and the homework, right? There are two assignments that are completely different. I just put them inside of it, and if I go the next time around, I gotta do homework number 8. Well, I create a new folder and I call it homework number 8. And if I need a template, I will go to my template, I will copy the files that I need, and then I will put them in that folder. I want to hope that you guys understand what I just did. Any questions? Don't feel to ask me in the chat or speak up. Okay, so these are the files that I'm going to use. I already renamed them, so I'm going to open them. So I'm going to right click and I'm going to say open. Let's come over here to my to-do list. To-do list, come on. So we got to talk about this zooming in. We already created a project. This is pretty much the routine. You click on the projects, new project, single user, you name it, you look for the location that you want to put it, and then you finish it. The zoom direction is, that's when notice there is a bunch of things. Probably should clean up your template. I want to erase all of this that's in here because that's kind of how it's supposed to look. So I'm going to click in the first. I'm going to click on the shift and then click on the last one. Then deselect the shift, right click, and delete. Okay. Double clicking your middle mouse button to center the view. So this is how it should look, by the way, your template. I need to go clean it up. If I go in, if I take a look at this, or in this, you guys will notice that you have a project browser or a model browser. Somewhere over here, if I want to select one of these planes, I will select the plane, different plane, different plane, different axis, different axis, different axis, and this guy is the center point. So this is what we call it a Inventor. It is a history-based program. Let's call it. It lives in hierarchy of order or modeling. Say. So for example, the end of the part, it is the end of all the stuff that you have done. And it's always will be on the bottom because guess what? It's the last thing that you will do. In here you have a box. This is the cube box. You can click on the top and then we'll create the top view. You can rotate the view. You can click on the front. You can click on the left. You can go on the back. You can go back to home. On the if you click the middle mouse button and you roll it, that will allow you to zoom in and zoom out. I usually like to have an order of zooming in. If I go and I scroll in, I want to zoom in into the part. So I actually need to change the way this is displayed. Like I gotta reverse the zoom in. So I'm gonna go to the file. I'm gonna go to the options, and on my options there should be a display. In the display there should be a zoom behavior. Click on the reverse direction. That one will allow you to have a click OK when you're done. And will allow you to, when you zoom in with your middle mouse button, you scroll in, it will zoom in. If you scroll out, it will zoom out. Usually that's my preferred way of having it. Okay. The next thing that I want to do is actually press the shift and the middle mouse button and hold them both at the same time, and then move your mouse, and that will allow you to rotate, right, and orbit. Okay. When I'm done, I want to click on the home, and I want to double click on the middle mouse button, and if I get to be somewhere like that, I will zoom it in, kind of like zoom extent. All right, let's take a look at your in-class assignment. So what I gotta do here, the whole project, it is to come up, with with a way of solving this. So I think the way I'm going to go after that, I'm going to start with a box, something like this. And then I'm going to start sculpting that box. And again, you guys could see it right there. This is the model that you guys are supposed to do. And if I want to look at the views, well, remember I have a couple of views where I got my top, my front, and my side view, which means I gotta go to each of these views and find the size of my box. So in terms of my box, I could see it here that if I want to look at the front, my box will be 2 by 3.5. I hope that you guys see the width is 7, the width is 7, and the height is 3.5. So I'm gonna go back to my Inventor, and the way Inventor works is you create sketches, and then after you create the sketches, you create extrusions. Everything that you do in Inventor is either going to be left click or right click. And Inventor knows that every right click that you do will come up with the most commonly used commands. Left click to select, right click to come up with useful commands. So in my case, I want to start here. I want to create a sketch on this XY plane. So first left click and then right click. And I want to create a new sketch. So just hover and click. I want to start with creating a little rectangle, which is going to be defining this box that I told you guys, which is going to be the front of the box, which is 7 by 3.5. So I want to go here to the rectangle and I want to create the 2-point center rectangle. I'm going to click in there and then I'm going to zoom out and just click somewhere else. You guys will notice that I created a box which is centered on the axis, but it's blue. Every sketch in Inventor needs to be consumed. You consume it by using a 3-dimensional operation. So start with a sketch and then you create a 3-dimensional operation that will give it volume to make it a 3D object. So if you guys remember, it was a 7 by 3, so I'm going to right click and then I'm going to select dimension. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to put 7. As soon as I click on it, the whole object, the whole sketch that I have, it will grow accordingly. I'm going to make another sketch. I'm going to dimension. I'm going to right click and then create dimension. And in this case, I was 3.5, so it's going to be 3.5. Press enter. As soon as you do that, you will notice that my sketch is completely black. This is what I'm looking for. It needs to be black, otherwise you're not done. I'm going to right click and I'm going to finish the sketch. So you guys will notice everything left click, right click, left click, right click. So now at this point of time, I have the sketch set, which means I'm ready to consume the sketch. You guys will notice that it's now in the model browser because I have a history-based commands. The first thing that I did is create a sketch. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude. So I'm going to do right click and extrude. As soon as I do that, it will start looking, Inventor will start looking for a closed profile. In this case, was my rectangle. I gotta give it a depth. So if I go here, I can find my depth from my 3.5 right there. This is the depth. That means I gotta go in my model and give it a depth of 3.5. I want to do it symmetrically. You can do it one direction, another direction, symmetrically, or you can even do it asymmetrically, different distance on both sides. In my case, I want to do it symmetrically. I want the whole thing to be 3.5, and I want to say okay. Boom. As soon as I do that, and if I click on the shift middle mouse button and the shift and the middle mouse button on your mouse and you hold it, you will have your first 3D shape. Okay. As I previously told you, what we're going to do in this, we're going to start cutting stuff out. So if I were to look at my view, you put this guy somewhere here. The next thing that I want to do is I want to actually go to the top and cut a chunk. And I want to cut the whole thing out, right? Something like this. But for me to be able to do that, I need to go to the top of the part and chuck and get rid of this extra part, right? Subtractive manufacturing is called. So I'm going to go and I'm going to create another rectangle. So let's go back here on the top. Left click, right click. Everything left click, right click. I'm going to create a new sketch. And now I need to create a sketch. So how I'm going to create a sketch, I'm going to go back, but now I'm going to be using the 2-point center rectangle. And I'm just going to hover till this guy's highlights. And then I'm going to make a rectangle. So you guys will notice the bottom, I cannot move it because it has been locked to the existing geometry. The other one I can actually model it using these dimensions. So it seems to me this is 5 inches and 1.5 from the top. So I can go right click and get dimensions from here to there. So 1.5. And if I recall correctly, the first one was 1, and the second one was 6. And then you can just right click and select. And this one was 6. You want to make sure that your sketch looks completely black. Again, you guys could see it. It's right there, 1 and 6. Your sketch looks completely black. It needs to be a close profile for you to be able to extrude. That's why I use a rectangle. I'm going to say finish. And now I can actually execute this extrusion. So right click and then do extrusion. It will pick up the close profile and it will actually want to create more material. In my case, I don't want to create material. I want to subtract materials. I want to click on the cut. And I want to not have a distance. I actually want to go through the whole part. So if for whatever this reason I need to make any modification, this guy will always cut through the whole part. Okay. So I want to say okay. So we are coming along. If I come back in here in my sketch, now I gotten rid of this. But guess what? I also want to go and chop this triangular notch. See the triangular notch? I want to chop it, and I want to chop it somewhere here, and I want to go through the whole part, and get me this surface, right? I'm gonna go through it. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to go to the front view. I'm going to create this little triangle, and I'm going to cut the whole thing through. So it seems to me it is 3 and 1.5. That will be the triangle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this face, and then I'm going to right click and create a new sketch. At this point of time, I can use the line. There's a bunch of line circles that you can create to create sketches. I also can do right click and create new lines. Again, Inventor knows what are the most common used commands. So I can just right click and select. Now that I have this, I can also dimension it. So you guys remember it was 3 and 1.5. So 3 and 1.5 is going to go dimension. You go from here to that point. I need to be I'm looking for the little green dot. And then I can go 3. And I also need 1.5. So I'm going from the bottom and I'm looking for the green dot. And then I'm going to say 1.5. Boom. If you guys remember, it seems to me like it did not lock. You see, it doesn't lock. It lives in 3D space. It's still blue. I need to lock it. So how am I going to lock it? Well, in order to lock it, I need to define this line, but I don't want to draw it. So I'm going to use the project geometry to select that guy. And now we'll notice that it turned yellow because it has been projected into this sketch. At this point of time, I can grab that dot and move it until it snaps. You guys will notice that the line turned black, which means it has completely been locked. Make sure that I have a close profile, which is to be like I do. I have a yellow here, a yellow line, and also a black line, which creates a close profile. I'm going to say finish. And now at this point of time, I can do an extrusion. So right click and extrude. I want to go cut, and I also want to go through the whole part. And then I'm going to say, okay, boom, we're coming along. Okay, so what else do I have here? So it seems to me that I have another notch. I want to hope that you guys could see it. It's this little notch. And the location where I see that notch, it is in the right side view. And it goes through the whole part. So I'm going to go back to here, and now I'm going to create a sketch right here on that view. And it will kind of like orient itself. Again, I want to do the same concept. I want to do a couple of lines. One that goes here, and then I finish somewhere there. And now I need to dimension it. This is to me, this is 2.5 and 2.5. Have a better idea. I'm going to do it even easier. Let's get rid of that sketch. I don't want to have a sketch that are crazy, that I'm not going to be using, because by the way, I'm going to do it a different way. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to delete it. I don't want that sketch. You want to make sure that you don't have a sketch that are flying in the sky. They have to be consumed by a 3-dimensional operation. The way I'm going to do the chamfer is by making the chamfer command. So I'm just going to hover till I see the edge, and then there should be one that it has like a chamfer. So I'm just going to click the chamfer. And the size of my chamfer was 2.5. So it is, if the whole thing is 3.5 and this is 2.5, so it's a 1. The distance from here to here is 1. The distance from here to here is 1. So it's going to put 1 here. 1. And then we'll create my chamfer. Cool. If you are suspicious, if you did it right, you can always measure. The command for measure is M. You just click M. M for mama. Click on M. And then select 2 points. This and this. And put 2.5. Exactly how we expected it. Escape. Right, so we are almost done. If you guys come over here, if you look at this sketch, you guys will notice I also did left click, right click, left click, right click. Everything was left and right click. The next thing that I see here, it is a couple of holes. How am I going to put those holes? Well, I'm going to create another sketch. In this case, I'm going to create it on his face. And I'm going to say new sketch. I'm not going to draw a circle. Do not draw a circle to make holes. It's a really bad practice. The way you're going to do it, and we're going to click on the point. Click one right there, and click another one right there. I got this point represent the bullseye. I need to dimension the bullseye so I know what exactly it is. So it seems to me my bullseye, it is 2 and 2.5, which I'm going to do that one. I'm going to dimension. So I'm going to go from here to 2.5 is the 2.5 is the other one. So 2.5 right there, and then I'm going to do dimension from the bottom to the top. 2, 2, 2. And then I have another one somewhere here, which seems to me is 5 and 1. So this one, and again, you guys notice I'm just dimensioning where the location of the bullseye, right? So this one is 5, and the other one is 1. So use dimension 5 and 1. Again, it's also recommended for you to move away from the part. Make sure that your dimensions don't kind of like collapse with each other. So just grab the dimension and hold the left button on your mouse and just move it, drag it out. Once you locate your bullseyes, your points should look black. If they're not black, it's because you're not done. You gotta find out why it's not locked. I'm gonna say finish. At this point in time, I can remember Inventor knows the most common commands: left click, right click. So I'm gonna go right click, and one of the commands is the hole. You just gotta click on the hole. It will create a hole, and I actually want to have a hole that goes all the way through. Then the size of my hole is 1 inch. So 1 inch diameter through. So I gotta change the size to 1. And we'll create 2 holes, 1 inch. I want to say okay. Click on the middle mouse button and the shift, hold them, move your mouse, and then you'll be able to see your first 3D part. This is what I call this IPT. You want to save it. Control S to save. When you submit your work to me, you are going to submit this file, IPT file. Let's work on the drawing, IDW file. So you're just going to click on the file, the IDW, and then I'm going to start pasting the views. So if you go and you look at the extra credit, you guys will notice that I have a couple of views. I have my front, my top, my side, and my isometric view. And the scale is a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to go and I'm going to paste it. So right click, base view. As soon as I do that, you will see that Inventor will show you a little cube. And it's telling you, hey, this guy is the front. I'm like, okay, I want the front. I'm going to hover to the top and I'm going to click. It's going to create the top view. I'm going to hover to the right and I'm going to click. It's going to create your side view. I'm going to hover to the corner and I'm going to click. That's going to create my isometric view. You guys remember the scale was a 1/2. If your scale is not a 1/2, type a 1/2. In my case, I am done. And I'm going to say, and I'm going to click OK. Also make sure that this guy light bulb is off. Sometimes Inventor will create labels for each of the views and I don't want labels. So just click in there and then I'm going to click OK. Boom. I'm going to drag my views and kind of center them because I'm going to dimension them, something like this, something like that. Okay. And I'm going to create a couple of dimensions. The first thing, I got to create a couple of center lines. So I'm going to go to the Annotate tab. And here I have my center marks. This is the center marks command. I'm going to click in it, and then I'm going to click on the hole, and I'm going to click on the hole. Boom, done. I got to go to the other views and get my center line as well. So center marks, center lines. So you just got to click on 2 lines. One line, another line, we'll create it. One line, another line, we'll create it. Just click and click. To me here I got another one. Click and click and click and click. So what happened here? Seems to me that this guy came up to be too long. And why is because I have an edge which I'm using to project. Okay, so I don't really want that. The way I'm going to make this center line is I should be able to draw a center line if I just click in here. Let me see if I can find. There we go. You click on the center line, you click on that guy, and then you just kind of move it. See if you can find a. Sometimes I will let you snap here. If it doesn't let you snap, we're going to have to do a different way. No, it doesn't let you snap. Okay, so the other way is to create a line. You remember in AutoCAD, what was the command for line? L. Well, same concept. You're going to click on the view that you want to make the line. And then in case, I'm just going to make a line. Right there. Boom. I got to locate that line. And it seems to me like that line, if I recall correctly, the diameter is 1 inch. So I got to locate at middle of the 1 inch or the radius. So I am going to cut to project and see. I gotta get a dimension from my computer. I need to have something that I gotta locate with. Let's put it somewhere there. And I don't know why it's not letting me project. Usually it lets me project. Okay, so once you make the line, I'm gonna say finish the sketch. And I wanna make sure that it looks like a center line. So I'm gonna right click on the properties. Right click and then select properties. And then I'm gonna choose chain. And I'm gonna choose 0.014. I'm gonna say okay. That is going to be representing my my center line. So I got center lines here, here. This is the center line right there. Mock-up line that is representing the center line. And then I got all of these guys right there. And then I just gotta measure the dimensions. So how do I get a dimension? Well, from the bottom, top. So the first thing from my bottom datum to the hole is that one. The next thing it is, click on there. The next thing is this one. That's the next feature. Say okay. I don't want to edit the dimension every time I put it, otherwise it's going to take forever. I'm going to make another one right there. Actually, let's put it on the opposite side. I also got the overall height. The overall height I am going to put it here. Let's put it on this side. That's the left datum. I also got a bunch of holes that I want to call out. So how do I go the holes? I'm gonna do right click, hole, thread, call outs. I'm gonna click and I'm gonna move away right there. And then I got two of them, so I gotta double click and tell them I want two of them. So I'm gonna go to the left side 2 times, and then I'm gonna say okay. So now I got two holes that I'm calling out. Again, I started from the bottom up. Every feature that I see, I get to dimension the system. Here I got one more feature that I did not capture that I get to capture, right from the bottom to the top. Okay, you guys are going to continue doing the same thing that I did and add the rest of the dimensions. Again, right click dimension, right click dimension. It's like wait, right click dimension, and then check, select 2 points, and I will okay dimension. In terms of this symbol, you should be able to type all of these. In fact, it seems to be it's already there. The only thing is you need to type file 125. File is finished all over. That's the surface finish. So I'm going to double click in here, and it's going to allow me to now type in here. So 5 point finish all over 125. Say okay. You guys will notice that this guy has a little check mark. That is the surface finish symbol. So I want to place it. It's on the annotate tab. There's a little surface. So just come over, place it somewhere that it looks about yay, and double click. Double click. You got no single click, double click, and then say okay, and escape. All right. That should allow you to do your notes. In fact, the notes are done. You need to be able to do the rest of the you should be able to do the rest of the dimensions. In terms of putting the scale, the material, you just double click on here and you just continue writing. Continue writing, right? The scale, and you do the same thing for the rest of it. Okay, you just kind of put up your information. Okay, so this is your first inventor model. This is what we cover. We said that there are going to be templates in Dropbox. The in-class assignment is going to be extra credit. It's going to be 5 points. If you get to work from home, I want you guys to download Inventor 2022. We show you how to create a project, and we also talk about the direction of zooming in, how to change the display. So you just go to options. We talk about the different type of files, and I told you guys, hey, you gotta create the IPT, the IAM. The IAM will do it later. Right now, you just use IPTs and IDWs. Once you are done with your file and you are ready to submit to me, if you guys recall, I told you, I want you to submit 3 files, IPT and IDW. This is the model, this is the drawing, this is a PDF so I can check it. You go, once you're done, you fill up everything, you go here to the file, go to export, and then you click on export PDF. I will create a PDF for you. You just gotta save it. Look for where you want to save it. In my case, I create a folder for Homework 7, and it's gonna create a PDF file for you. And if you go to my folder, you will see it right there. You can open it, and this is the PDF file that you will submit. What else do we cover? We talk about the different the view cube, right? You can just click on the view. In here, you have your mouse. You have left click and right click. It's usually that way. Left click, right click, left click, right click. If you want to scroll, you want to zoom in and zoom out. If you want to orbit, you want to rotate things, shift middle mouse button and press them and drag. If you want to zoom extend, double click on the mouse, on the middle mouse button on the mouse. Okay. We talk about the environments. There is the model tree where everything is in order. You guys will notice that's what I call the model tree. So this is your model tree, right? You will see it. There are different operations and they go in order. You can see I can move the end of the part and locate it so the way it was. So I started like that. Then we create a chunk. Then create another chunk. Then we create a chamfer. And then we create a bunch of holes. So there is the model tree. Remember, there are plates, there are axes. We talk about the cube. And then the way you go and you create shapes in Inventor. You create a sketch and then you extrude. Sketch, extrude. Whew. Okay, it's a pretty good start for Inventor. I'm going to stop the recording. I know some of you guys show up. Thank you for showing up. Remember, today you guys have a quiz. If you haven't watched the video, watch the video. Let me stop the recording. Good morning, engineering 2. Woo! I want to cover today is homework number 7. So let's take a look at homework number 7. This is what is due next week on Tuesday. Model the parts shown below. I made a fully dimensioned half scale B size. A B size is an 11 by 17 sheet. A half scale means I'm going to have the part and then I'm going to shrink it by a half. Much more it says. Similar to the drawings made in the class exercise. So again, you guys remember the last time, that's exactly what we did. We did the in-class assignment. Each large interval in the sketch represents 1 inch, and each small interval represents half an inch. So you guys will notice that here you have a small little increment, and a little large increment. So the large ones are 1 inch, the small ones are half an inch. Okay. The true holes are 0.875, and again, I went and I made a note. These are true holes. The 1 inch wide by half an inch high slot extends to the width of the part. So this one extends to the width of the part. The 3 by a half slot, it seems to me one that does the same thing. Let me see what else. The drawing should consist of the top, the front, the top, the right side views, a line and a space, a half scale isometric view should be placed in the upper right hand corner, and then you should have some, all dimensions should be resized to 3 decimal places. Use the baseline dimension, and they want you to use the bottom, the back, and the left size of the part as datums. Oh, by the way, you know what? I forgot one thing. Today, I believe today you guys have a quiz. I told you guys I'm going to give you one. What I'm going to do it with you. The next one you're going to do it by yourself. So today, I almost forgot. Today, during the lab time, you guys will have your quiz, but then this one you're going to do it by yourself, not me. So today it's a good idea if you came, because we're going to go do the homework number 7, and we're going to talk about dimensions, which is going to be a little review for you before you take a quiz. Okay, so let's talk about this. The first thing that I want to do, let's put it here. The first thing that I want to do is I want to come up with a little sketch, which is going to contain, if I can put it somewhere that you guys can see it well, the camera here, light. Make some flashlight here, you guys can see a little better. Okay, let's actually start with my little cube, somewhere here. So this is my top, my front, and my side view. I'm going to make a couple of boxes. They're not going to be to scale, but they're going to be good enough for us to start looking. Let's do it with pencil. I'm going to do the visible lines with pen. So it seems to me that you guys have a box that's about yay width, right? And my top view, let's do a similar one there. My top view looks about J depth, right? And then my side view, let's put it about here. Seems to be something like that, right? It's about what I'm seeing in terms of the size of the box. Right? You want to start with the box, and we'll make everything easier. Then it seems to me that somewhere here on my front view, you have a slope plane, so you guys can see it. It is this one. That's the plane that I'm looking. And it seems to me like it goes to the whole part. So I want to go and I want to push it all the way to there. And again, I'm calling the block all the way through. And if I were to look at from the top, this line represents this edge. Okay? The top view represents that edge. And if I were to look at it from the top, this point represents an edge right here. Okay? Let's go to something else. It seems to me like also in this front view, I have a little notch. And that notch seems to me it's about the same size as this one. So what about that? If I were to look at it on the front and in the top view, this guy, you will see it as a hidden line. But because you have a visible line in front of it, then you won't see it. What else do I see? In the top view, it seems to me you guys will have two holes. One here and one there. So what about you? It seems to me that you guys also will have a notch on the top view. Seems to me that one will look something about yay to the top view. And when you were to look at it in the front view, if I were to connect this line, it will be here. It seems to me this guy will be, you will see it like a line here. Like this, because this surface that you guys see here is this surface, and this is sloping. Hopefully you can see it. Right. So that's pretty much it. And to be honest, I don't want to do any hidden lines because it's going to make things a little bit more confusing, especially when I'm going to do dimensions. Because again, you do not dimension to hidden features. So if I go and I take away the hidden features, that will make it even easier for you guys to identify what you're supposed to dimension. In case of you guys, if you guys want to model it, once you guys put it on the model will contain the hidden features. because I want you guys to show them, but you are not going to dimension to them because you're not supposed to dimension to hidden features. So let me see here. Let's put a couple of holes there. Another hole right there. And then I still got the side view that I gotta look at the side view. So if I were to look at the side view, it seems to me it's going to go across the whole part, something like that. And then it seems to me here, if I can make a little 45-degree line here. Because if you do a 45-degree line, you can actually get to have the right depth. Okay, so it seems to me like this line here, I want to project right there on the 45, and then I want to project it down. So, and then this point is this point, right? So this slot, this one right here, that line, and it seems to me here is this line. So this that I'm drawing is the same plane that you guys see here. You want to see it on the front view. And again, we're not going to do anything. You want to see it on the top view, right? This side view is the same one as this one, which is the same one as this one, right? I also have the little slot. It seems to me have a small little slot right here that I can put in there. And the rest of it is a bunch of hidden lines, which again, I will not put it because I will make your life confusing. It will be harder for you to see what's really going on. So I'm just going to put all the visible lines, especially because since I'm going to be kind of examining what I'm going to be dimensioning, it will make it easier for me to see what I need to dimension and what I do not need to dimension. Okay, so the first thing that I see is that I'm going to go from the, let me see what the Datums they asked me. I think it was the bottom, the front, bottom, the back, and the left. So the typical ones. Let's put this one somewhere there and bring this guy back. Right. Let's see. The typical ones. Let me move my mouse up. Okay, so the bottom, I am going to get myself rulers. Here I have something I can use for a ruler. And then I'm going to start moving up and find features. So the first feature that I go as I move up is going to be this slot, which by the way, there are two different slots. This one is cut on the side view, and this one is cut on the front view. But there are two different ones. Okay, so I gotta dimension actually both of them. So let me see if I got some pencils. Here I got a red pen. I'm gonna use the red pen to represent the datum from the bottom. So again, it's gonna be this high, it's gonna be this high, it's gonna be this high. I'm gonna go from the bottom to the top. So the first dimension will be here. And again, try to make little arrows about yay. It seems to me that dimension is half an inch. They say the increments are going to be half an inch. So I'm going to make a arrow. Let's see, what do I put right here? 0.50. And they ask me how many decimal places. Let me look for decimal places. 3 decimal places. So I need to put 0.500. 2 zeros. It seems to me on the other side here, again, I have this feature. So I'm going to put it somewhere there. And this feature here, a little shoulder. And then it seems to me that one is the same, 0.500. Then I'm going to continue. Boop, boop. The next feature is the corner of the slanted face. And I need to put it where I could see the slanted face. So in this case, it's going to be on the front view. It's going to go there. It's going to go there. Little gap in between. Put an arrow. Put an arrow. And it seems to me that one is 1 inch, right? Because there are two slots right there. So two little small marks, so it's half an inch each. So this guy should be 1 inch. 1.1000. 3 decimal places, everything. I'm going to continue. Boop, boop, boop. The next one, it seems to me, is the location of this slanted face. To be honest, I do not need to dimension it because it's going to be a product of me chopping things. Let me explain you why. So if I were to have the box, the first thing that I would do is most likely cut that guy, right, for the whole part. And then I will go to the top view. I will have this slot, and I will cut to the whole part. And it will give me this. Let me see if I can show you what I'm doing. So you see this guy here that I just cut up is a product of me cutting from the top. And never in no time I went and I say, what do I need to dimension to get that point, right? There was 2 operations. One operation was from the front view, the other operation was from the top view. So I don't really need it, so that's why I don't want to mention it. So those 2 are there, and the last one is to me is the height. I'm going to put the height. I'm going to put the height right here. This is a good place. It's nice and clean. Nice and clean. This guy is, seems to me, it is 1 through 3. 3.000. Boom, boom. That is pretty much it. I'm done with the bottom to the top. Let's go and move to the left side. I'm gonna grab my datum. And it seems to me I have 2 bullseyes here, so I'm gonna put the bullseyes. Bullseye, boop, boop. So we can get a different color. Seems to me this guy's kind of it's not working. We'll have a color that is different. This guy's a black one. I'm not sure if you guys be able to see the difference, but I'm gonna give it a shot. Again, I'm gonna go from the left towards the right. The first thing that I see will be this hole. I am going to make the arrow. The next thing that I will see will be the hole on the top. I'm going to make the arrow. Let's see, somewhere there, somewhere there. The next thing that I will see will be this slot. And we'll do the same one over here. Again, I just went with my book, right? That's the hole, the other hole, the beginning of the triangular notch. Seems to be here. I also have the same concept. So let me see, somewhere there, and somewhere there, there. What else do I have? So book, book, book. Again, this feature I will not measure because I don't need to. And then the overall size. I think I'm going to do it here in the bottom. Book and book. So now I need to give it the dimension based on the drawing that I have there. It seems to me the first one is 2.000. The next one, it says to me, is 1.000. The next one over here, it says to me 1, 2, 3 is 3.00. The next one on the bottom, those ones are bigger spaces, so those ones are 1 inch. So this guy is actually not 3.000. The overall thing is 1, 2, 3, 2, 4, 6, 7. 7.000. Again, the bigger spaces are 1 inch, the smaller spaces are half an inch. I believe I am done. The next thing that I will have to do is, I can zoom out slightly. The next thing that I will have to do is do my back. So from the back to the front. So again, we go from this way, from the back to the front, from the back to the front. So the first thing that I will see is, seems to me, how different color. I want to go with pencil. This is the last one that I have. So I'm going to go from the back to the front. Let's put that one there. And here I have another one somewhere here, which I'm also going to do from there to there. The overall width might as well also go here. I'm going to go from there to there. Yeah. So that feature, this feature, and the overall width, and as I go from the back towards the front, it seems to me that I have this hole, and somewhere there, and then I have this other hole, which it seems to be somewhere there. I have the overall width already here. I mean, the overall depth is already here on the side view. And it seems to me here I have another feature that I gotta go and show. And that one will go up there. Boom. Do I have any fillets? No. Do I have any holes? Yes. No. So no fillets and rounds, a bunch of holes. I had to go take off early. I'll finish watching the lecture during lunch. Sure, I got your number 18. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, I have a hole in here, this one, that I gotta make happen. So I'm gonna go towards the center, and then I'm gonna move away, get a little shoulder, and that guy is 2 holes, so 2 times diameter 0.875 through. And all these pencil ones, it seems to me the first one is, can do it here if it doesn't fit, 1.00. The other one seems to me 2.000. The other one seems to me 4.000. The one on the top in here seems to be 3.000. The first hole seems to be located at 1.000, and the other one seems to be located at 3.000. And again, I remember the small separations that I have, the bigger separations are 1 inch. So to be honest, we are ready tomorrow. I'm not sure if I think I can do it next. Thunder tomorrow. The hardest part is to get this drawing going, right? So let me see how I'm going to do this. I'm going to do both of them. Let's say I'm going to put my mouse in here. I'm going to move this guy. Let's put it over there. Let's bring Inventor up. Let's actually create a couple of folders. So I don't have a folder for this, and I need to bring my templates, right? I got a couple of templates that I gotta use. So I'm gonna go to my Dropbox. Dropbox. Professor. No, let's do the student one. You guys know. I mean, while this guy is thinking, I'm gonna go and look for the folder that I created, Engineering to Inventor. And again, remember, we're working on homework 7. One was the in-class assignment. The other one is the actual assignment, right? The other one was kind of like the extra credit. Why do we use 3 decimal places instead of 2 again? It told me in my assignment. The assignment said use 3 decimal places, right? So that's what I'm kind of like just following the guidelines. Okay, so come over here. If you use 3 decimal places, depending on the instrument that you get to use, for example, the one that you guys are doing it, you are doing it with a ruler, where let's call it the ruler will only give you up to increments of 1/16 of an inch. So I'm going to consider that like 2 decimal places. Okay, so in my case, I need a US border, and I need a couple of drawings. They asked me to use the B size. I'm going to use this tool. I'm going to right click. I'm going to copy. I'm going to paste them in the folder where I was working last time. And I need to rename it. This guy is the actual homework 7. So I want to call it homework 07 part. And the other one is going to be the drawing, right? Rename homework 7 drawing. And at this point of time, I can grab this one and this guy and open them. So open. Boom. All right. Let's continue. Come on, computer. So again, my method of modeling this guy is going to be like a subtractive modeling. As you guys could see, my sketch is a bunch of boxes that I'm going to be cutting stuff away. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to just start with a box, and then I'm going to start cutting stuff away. So again, the first thing that you guys will notice is I could come over here and create a box, right? Based on the size that I got. Then it says to me here, my width is 7, my height is 3, and my depth is 4. So that's pretty much what I will start with. A cube of 3 by 7 by depth of 4. I want to erase this mess. Click on the first one. Click on the last one and type Shift. Release the Shift. Do not touch it anymore. And then right click. It should be an option for delete. Then you go back in there. Click the mouse, the middle mouse button on your mouse twice. And then it should go and zoom in. Okay, at that point of time, I can go and I can start creating the sketch. So I'm going to click on this guy. I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to say new sketch, right? So I'm going to get my cube first. Remember, I'm going to be using the rectangle 2-point center. I'm going to click in here, and I'm going to move out. And again, remember, it's everything left click, right click, so I'm going to do a dimension. If you guys remember, it was a 7 by 3. I'm going to click 3, and then I'm going to do 7. I'm going to go over here, click 7, and then I'm going to finish the sketch. Remember, everything's left click, right click, so I'm going to do right click, and I'm going to use the extrude command. And if you guys recall, the depth of this was 4 inches, so it's going to be 4 inches. And I'm going to do it symmetrically, right? So it's 2 and 2 on each side. And I am done with this. At this point of time, I can go to my sketch again, and I can decide what I'm going to do next. So I think what I'm going to do next is I can come over here to the same sketch and get rid of that guy and extrude it to the whole part. And that guy is a 0.5 by 3. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to right click, new sketch. And it seems to me that I have a rectangle. I want to change the type of rectangle. I'm going to use 2 point. I'm going to click on the corner. If you cannot snap on the corner, it's maybe because you got to project a couple of things. So project. I want that guy, and I want that guy, so I can snap my rectangle. So I'm going to cover, and I'm going to make one line right there. And the size of my rectangle was 3 by 0.5. So I want to dimension. No, that one. This one. Right click, dimension 3 by 0.5. Right. So set from there to there, 0.5. At the same time that I do that notch, I think I'm also going to do the triangular notch. So it seems to me that it's a 3 distance from this corner and 1 from the bottom. So for that, I'm just going to make a line. Click a line, go there, and make another line right there. And remember, if I want to do any type of extrusion, I need to have a close profile. So that means I need to close this triangle. For that, I'm going to project. And I'm going to project a line too. Right, so now I create a close profile. It seems to me the first one was 3 inches from here to the dot. 3 inches, and the other one was 1 inch. Okay, to there, to the little dot. And again, if it doesn't snap after you project it, just kind of like continue till it snaps, and it has to be black. So if it doesn't snap, let's see, did it snap or not? So it needs to snap. Try to find it and drag it. And if it drags and it doesn't move, it's good. It seems to me like that one's good, but this one is not. I'm gonna grab it till it snaps. It needs to continue. It has to be black, otherwise it's not completely locked. Okay, so I created my rectangle. I created my line that represents the triangle. At that point of time, everything's black. I can finish my sketch, and I can extrude. So I'm gonna go and I'm gonna say extrude. And at this point of time, it doesn't know what profile is the one that is closed, because you have a bunch of lines all over the place. So you need to let them know which one. So I'm going to hover until I see a rectangle highlighted. And I'm going to hover until I see that triangle highlighted. So again, you guys also have this one. You want the triangle one. I want to go through cut. I'm going to cut. And I want to cut to the whole part. And I'm going to say, okay, we are almost done. Let's continue with our sketch. Let's see what else. So we took care of this triangle. We took care of that triangle. Let's go to the side view and let's take care of this. Actually, let's do the holes first. We'll do the holes and then we'll take care of the last one. Okay, so I'm gonna go to the holes. Seems to me like I can come over here to this view, right click and make a new sketch. And now I can make a couple of holes. I want to click on one point right there and another point right there. So that's my bullseye. I need to locate the bullseye, and my bullseye is 2 and 1 and 1 and 3. So let's say 2 and 1. Dimension from here to here. It's 2 and 1, right there, 1, and the other one is 3 and 1. So 3 and 1. Beautiful. I can finish my sketch, and now I can get the holes. So right click holes, and if I recall correctly, I believe they were 0.875. So I'm gonna do 2 of them, which are going to be 0.875. And I want to go through the whole part, and I want to say, okay, so I am almost done. The next thing that I want to do is I want to do the cut that is somewhere over here. Oh, it seems to me I have another cut. It seems to me that I have this triangular cut in the same top view. So where am I going to do it? Because here I have a slanted face. I can do it on this face. To be honest, I can do it on that face. I can even do it on this plane as long as I have a place that is parallel. So I'm going to do it on this top view. So I already have something going on. So new sketch. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to project a couple of lines. Project that line and that line. And then I'm going to use rectangle. So I can locate the notch that I want to do. So that one, it seems to me it is 3 and I'm missing one dimension, guys. I need to define that guy. Let me see. I'm missing one. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I should have checked. So this guy should be 5. 5.000. Right? Because I defined this guy and I need to define this side as well. Where this guy is. And at this point of time, it seems to me that if I were to dimension, my dimension should have been somewhere over here, right? To get it out of the way. Right? So get it out of the way. Otherwise, it will be all messy and I will be crossing my extension line. So it's 5. Let's actually get a dimension here from there to there as 5. And then we believe the other one was 3. Dimension from here to there as 3. And then I am done. Okay. Now you guys will notice that the command will be extruding. So I'm going to go and I'm going to extrude. It knows the profile, and I want to make sure I go through the whole part. I want to make sure I have a cut. Right? I want to cut the whole thing. Boom. Okay. It seems to me that the last feature that I need to do is this little rectangle-ish looking like. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to create it. So right click new. And I'm going to make another rectangle. I'm going to actually project the bottom surface. And then I'm going to make a rectangle somewhere about yay. And I need to dimension that rectangle. So it seems to me it is 1 and 0.5. So 1 from here to here. And the height is 0.5. From here to here is 0.5. And the whole thing, I think it was 1 inch width, right? You got 2 and 1, so 1 inch width. So this guy should be 1. 1. Boom. And I'm done. I'm gonna finish my sketch. At this point of time, I can right click and I can do extrusion. And again, just making sure I do it the right way. So I'm going to go to all and cut. And I'm going to say, okay, boom. So I am done. Shift middle mouse button to start rotating, and it seems to me that I'm done with my weird shape. And at this point in time, Control S to save, Control S, and I will select save. And I can start placing my views. So let's place my views. I'm going to have my drawing open. So I'm just going to do right click, base view. It should bring up my front view. So I'm going to click on the top to do top. I'm going to click on the side to do side. I'm going to click on the corner to do isometric view. And I'm going to say and click on OK. If I recall correctly, they said that they wanted to have half an inch scale, so a half scale. So if I click in here, in the first view, which is the parent view, this is the scale. And again, you have different type of scales. Use scale. Make sure you don't have the label open, otherwise it will create tags. See tag. You don't want the tag. So just click on the label, then we'll take it off. If you want to edit, you want to actually leave it, you can click on this pencil, and you just gotta rename it something different. Maybe instead of calling this, you can call it front, something like that, right? In here, you will call it front, and we'll change the view 6. But I don't want that. I just want to make sure it's off. And then I want to say, okay, and we'll kind of get it out of the way. I'm going to move these views so I can start dimensioning. Let's put it somewhere there. I'm going to do a couple of center lines. So I'm going to go to the annotate. I'm going to click in the center line, click, and then click. And then I'm going to go to the bottom, and I'm going to do the center bisector. Center bisector. So I'm going to click on both of the lines, and it will create a center line in the middle. This one and this one will create another center line in the middle. And it seems to be I got the same hole over here, center line in the middle. Click over here and click over there, center line in the middle. Okay. All right. So I got all the holes. At this point of time, I can also move this guy slightly, and I can start doing some dimensions. So I got the dimensions. If you guys recall, I got this going on, right? So I'm gonna. I don't actually want to go. I'm just going to go from the bottom to the top, from the left to the right. So right click to dimension. The first thing that I want to do is I'm going to come over here. I am going to get that one there. And you are not supposed to have a, you're supposed to have a shoulder if you're making a vertical dimension that is not in the center. So I'm going to grab it, click on the left side, hold it, and then move to the right. And I see about 1/8 of an inch shoulder. Okay. I want to continue. It seems to me the next feature that I see is this one. So I'm going to click and click, and then I'm going to move away. And again, I want to do the same concept. I want to make sure there is a little shoulder there. Somewhere by yay. I'm going to do a dimension from here to there. Move away from the part. This one seems to me it fits in the middle. The next thing that I see seems to me is the height. I'm going to go from here to there. Move away. But yeah, it's pretty good. So I got boop, 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 boop. Right, all of it. So that's the bottom. From the bottom to the top. The next thing, let's do the left. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to locate this hole from the left. So make sure I have like about, it's a little too far there. It's about 3/8 of an inch. I'm not going to be measuring, right? From here to there should be about the same, about 3/8. This guy is a horizontal dimension, so I don't need to have a shoulder. If you have something that is vertically and it's not on the inside, that's when you need a shoulder. The next thing that I see, it seems to me, is this guy. So I'm going to put it about there. And this is one of the situations that there is no way around. You see kind of like this extension lines, they kind of cross with each other. I don't really like it, but there is no way around. The next one, I think I can do this guy here from the left side. About not too far away. About yay. And then I can also do this one. About yay. And the overall width, I think I'm going to do it in this view. Somewhere there. Again, you guys could have done it on the top. The back view is going to be from here to there, and I also can do from here to there, and I also can do from here to there. That's the back, and it seems to me I have this slot. I can also do from here to there. Have a gap. If it doesn't have a gap, it's no bueno. It has to have a gap. So I'm going to put it about. I'm going to put it there, and then I'm going to move this guy up. And put it on the side, and then move it slightly. So we can move it about yay, and then give it a shoulder. So we have about 3/8 separation. Again, let's do the next one. I'm going to go from here to there. That one is going to be there, and then overall depth, I think I'm also going to put it here, from there to there. And finally, I believe I need my holes. My holes are going to be using these hole thread nodes. I'm going to put to one of the whole, and I'm going to move away. I like how it looks. Again, whole, click, and move away. I'm going to put it about 8, and I got 2 of them, so I got to call 2 of them. So 2 times. Click on it 2 times. No lowercase, uppercase, everything. You say okay. And I believe, let me see, double check. Boop, 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 and back to do, and the whole school. Good. You guys are meant to finish the notes. I think I told you guys the notes. Let me see. The notes will be decimal significant figures, right? The decimal places. All dimensions should be XXXX. Besides that, I would also say make sure that you put the same note that we did last time, which was FAO, and then do the little 125 and do the check mark, right? That's also another note that you should be doing. So to let you know the surface finish, you put your name, and then when you are done, you want to export it to a PDF, so you can submit the PDF. You do File, you do Export, you do PDF, and then you save it in your homework number 7. This is actually homework number 7. You say Save, and you are done.